Good evening to you all, and welcome to this week's presentation. So, let me start with the market performance, then I will move on to the rest of the parts of this presentation. Colombo Stock Exchange had an amazing week this week in terms of both indices. They went up and managed to sustain in the green territory throughout the week. So during Tuesday's trading session, because market remained closed on Monday with a special bank holiday, so that during Tuesday's trading session, SPI gained up by 114 points to close at 8,376.30, and S&P SL 20 index also went up by 79 points to close at 2,607.51. So we see improved confidence in terms of um investors' behavior, and the market sentiment remained positive due to several positive factors. And during the day, the turnover recorded a value of 1.2 billion, and foreign sales, however, picked up to report a value of 70 million over 28 million worth of foreign purchases. So net outflow was resulted during the Tuesday's trading session. However, we see improved investor confidence throughout the week with the concerns over IMF deal that is coming to effect very soon, with some positive news from the bilateral lenders, and also with anticipations regarding interest rates to further decline. So, with these positive factors, market remain to actively goes up throughout the week. During Wednesday's trading session as well, SPI went up by 9.97 points to close at 8,386.27. However, S&P SL 20 index was slightly declined by 0.13 points, and that closed at 2,607.38 for the day. So during the day, anyhow, the turnover followed a staircase, and that was further improved compared to that of previous day to report a value of 1.39 billion, and foreign purchases recorded a value of 39 million, on contrary to 36 million worth of foreign sales. And most of the investors were anticipating a reduction in treasuries, and that came true uh, with the highest, or the very recent highest amount of basis point decline in terms of all three maturities. And with that, we see improved investor traction in several counters, including treasury counters, and the bank sector stocks also started to move up. So during Thursday's trading session, SPI gained by 99 points to close at 8,484.92, and S&P SL 20 index also went up by 28 points to close at 2,635.77. So during the day, turnover level further increased to report a value of 1.85 billion, and foreign purchases altogether reported a value of 101 million over 32 million worth of foreign sales. So, Sri Lanka officially got a notification from the official reply from India that it's going to support Sri Lanka debt restructuring program, and with that, the market was shoot up, and that's why basically the investor confidence remained very much positive throughout the week. So if you look at the Friday's trading session, during the day the SPI went up by 233 points to close at 8,718.15. That was the biggest day gain for this year up to now, and S&P SL 20 index also went up by 88 points to close at 2,724.22. So we see improved improved buying behavior in a lot of index heavy counters. So with that, some of the counters like Sampath, Commercial Bank, Richard Peace, and Expo managed to become top gainers, or to manage to gain higher during the Friday's trading session. So during the day, turnover level altogether reported a value of 2.24 billion, and foreign purchases also picked up to report a value of 178 million over 118 million worth of foreign sales. So altogether, with this recently insulated positivity, ASPI increased by 5.51%, resulting a weekly gain, and S&P SL20 index also went up by 7.76%. And most importantly, net foreign inflow was reported, and that amounted to be 90 million rupees. And then moving on to treasury yields for the week. So the treasury yields in terms of the three maturities resulted the greatest and the highest basis point decline in recent times. So accordingly, 3 month maturity has the treasury yield has declined to 30.08%, and that was a 107 basis decline from its previous yield of 31.15%. And 6 month yield also declined to 29.07%, which is a decline of 230 basis points from the previous peak figure. And 12-month maturity yield also declined to 28.25%, and which is a reduction of 79 basis points from the previous figure of 29.04%. And then looking at the spot rates, Sri Lanka rupee slightly appreciated against US dollar and euro, but reported a slight depreciation against Great Britain pounds and Japanese yen for the week ended 20th January. And then let me move on to some key economic highlights which became a talk of the town for the week. So, one of the most important news, or rather, it's one of the much awaited news that we were expecting to get from a bilateral lender. So, as accordingly, India officially informed that the country is going to support Sri Lanka's debt restructuring program. Guess this is one of the first official notification that our country get from a bilateral lender regarding the support for the debt restructuring program. And altogether with that, China also recently expressed that good news can be heard from China very recently regarding their support towards Sri Lanka's debt restructuring. So, India's Foreign Affairs Minister Jaishankar also paid a visit to Sri Lanka this week, and he came with a lot of ideas to strengthen strengthen foreign investments in Sri Lanka. So, with these consecutive involvements, we can expect there can be improved strategic involvement of India in terms of Sri Lanka's policy making and the economic decision making. So, with this positive news in terms of getting the assurances from these bilateral lenders supported to improve the overall market confidence throughout the week, as I previously mentioned. And there's also one important factor to mention that out of Sri Lanka's external debts, nearly 40% held by market borrowings, which basically held by institutional investors from Europe and US. And China comes in the fourth place, which only the largest lender in terms of bilateral lending. So when the country is focusing on external debt restructuring, the first and the major foremost focus should be on market borrowings, and China comes on the fourth place. So that need to be kept in mind because the US ambassador was kept on making some allegations regarding China that they are the parties to delay the IMF support for Sri Lanka. So there was kind of a conflict in terms of the ambassador's comments and China. So anyhow, the composition of Sri Lanka's external debt need to be keep on mind. And the other important economic highlight for the week is the downgrade of insurers in Sri Lanka by Fitch Ratings. Hope you all can remember that during last week, Fitch Ratings downgraded 7 of Sri Lanka's banks, which consist of both the public and private sector bankers. So, with the recent downgrade of Sri Lanka's long term currency sure default rate to CC from triple C, the Fitch Ratings has decided to lower the ratings of a couple of insurers as well. So accordingly, the weak credit portfolio in terms with the investment and liquidity risk were considered when downgrading these insurers. So, as accordingly, Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation has downgraded to A from AA, and the National Insurance Trust Fund Board, People's Insurance, HNB Assurance, HNB General Insurance, and Continental Insurance, these companies have downgraded to A minus from A plus, and for the Construction Guarantee Fund ratings also downgraded to double B from the previous triple B minus. So these insurers were downgraded by Fitch Ratings this week, and that comes along with recent downgrade of Sri Lanka's overall issuer default rate. And now let me move on to some highlights from the commodity markets and the financial markets. So, commodities managed to pick up during the week, and that was for the couple of a straight session for this year. The commodities were started to they were shooting up from the very beginning of this year. So the oil prices continued to climb up with brighter prospects regarding the economic recovery from China and the demand optimism. And the gold prices also went up with the anticipations regarding the interest rate reduction and some looming concerns regarding recession, and on top of that the increase for the demand for gold has been increased as a safe haven. And we see the copper prices and aluminium prices also picked up for the week, and it was reported that China's aluminium output in 2022 rose by 4.5% from its year earlier figure, which was a significant and a considerable increase. And now, looking at the international financial markets were on mixed note, and some of the markets managed to report a weekly gain, but some of the European and the US markets resulted a weekly drop. So, however, most of the stocks managed to gain during Friday's trading session, and the world stocks steadied on Friday with the shares of Netflix boosting S&P 500 index, but that resulted they went for a weekly decline because investors struggled to keep the momentum and the earnings weighed down on the indices. And the overall European shares managed to gain despite the decline of Fitch, and Asian stocks also gained with this the demand optimism and the positive prospects regarding China and its economic revival. And also the Indian market also reported a weekly gain, but the gains were somewhat capped during the decline in the latter part of the week. That was due to some concerns regarding the corporate earnings and expectations on global economic slowdown. So markets were on mixed note. Anyhow, most of the Asian markets managed to report a weekly gain for the week ended 20th January 2023. So that ends my points and thoughts regarding this week's performance. And let me hand over the presentation to Harin from here onwards.
Thank you, Sachini. During this week, the price of gold was able to make a breakout over the level of daily resistance 1900, 1910, which is actually the psychological area. And after making a successful breakout over that key area, we were able to see a minor retest came towards a pullback, or retracement came towards the level of daily support 1900, 1910. So which basically was previous year daily resistance. Now it will become a daily support level as the price made a retest and broke the previous structure high, which is actually 1929 US dollars. So with that being said, the RSI comes to a level of 70, which is basically in the overbought territory at the moment. This is the daily RSI. long as the price sustains about the psychological area of 1900, we have hope that the price could actually test the next daily resistance as 1950, 1960. A breakout above that key level also could further push the price of gold towards the 2000 key area, which is 2000 another psychological area. So as for now, we need to see during coming week whether the price could actually break the current structure high, which is 1937, which was recorded on 20th January 2023. So that was basically yesterday's Friday's session. So once the price makes move above the level of structure high 1937, it could basically test the key level of daily resistance 1950, 1960. Moving averages also, as you can see, the price is trading above the moving averages, which indicates a bullish momentum. So previously we were able to see when the price was actually declining, when the gold price was declining, the price was actually trading below the moving averages of 50 and 20, which indicated a declining momentum. So now that the trend has changed and there was a crossing somewhere around in November, you can clearly see that the price is trading above the moving averages and the price of gold is bullish. So during this week, as we look at the all share index, we were able to see the all share index made a low of somewhat around 8,326, sorry, 8,254 in 13th of January 2023. So after making that low, it made basically a pullback from that key area and tested the previous daily resistance of 8,450, 8,500, managed to break out above that key area after a successful retest, making it a daily support zone now. And now, as we can see, it is bullish and currently heading towards 8,845, which is actually 28th October high. So that could be tested during the coming week if it sustains above the daily support level of 8,500 and also the moving averages. So the RSI comes to a level of 63. As the market closed on Friday, we were able to see that RSI also closed at a 63, which is in the mid range basically. So with that being said, uh, looking at the moving averages, we can see that the index is trading about both 50 and 20 EMAs, which indicates a bullish momentum as for now. So it needs to sustain above the moving averages and also the daily support of 8,500. Then it could test the level of 8,845. A breakout above that key level also could indicate the index to reach the daily resistance 8,950, 9,000. So and most of all, this can be a head and shoulders pattern as well, where this could be a left shoulder, head, and the right shoulder could perform at around 8,845. So we'll keep an eye on the index. Let's see what would happen during the coming week. This week we have the topic of the week as MGT. So previously also I mentioned that the MGT is quite ranging in between the daily support of 20 and the daily resistance of 25. So as you all can see, price was able to test the December 21st low, which is at 20 rupees. So that was tested on 19th January 2023 as well. Now it has again made its way towards the daily resistance 24.25. So therefore it needs a successful breakout above that key level, and then only we'll be able to see it testing the next key level of 27.5, that key area. And further going forward, we have the next daily resistance at 29.30 key area range. RSI comes to a level of 55, which is basically in the mid range. Moving averages, we need to wait for some time as it crosses above the daily resistance and also the 50 moving average, and then we have clear confirmation that the price of this stock could further go up towards the daily resistance of 27.5, and the key level of 27.5, and the resistance of 29.30. So those could be tested once the price starts to move about the level of 24.25 and also the 50 moving average. So that's it from my end. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please do like and subscribe and share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.